Well, we're back with Dave Saunders from RO Advisors. So today he wants to talk about gross domestic product. Now that's GPD. We hear a lot of it. So I'd be very interested to know what his thoughts are on this. Dave.
Yeah, look, it's the GDP figures are due out later this week, and yeah, there's some contention amongst economists going, is it going to show that we're in a technical recession or not? And this is sure to be in the second half of this week. We'll hear about it on the news, and they'll interview some people in the street, and it'll all sound terrible. But the question that I've got is, GDP. It's pretty antiquated, very basic, very blunt measure. Are we measuring the right thing? And GDP measures activity. There's one of the things I think a lot of people don't get. So GDP just measures activity. Doesn't matter if that activity, economic activity, but it doesn't matter if that economic activity is actually any good or not. So, for example, if I paid you, Max, to dig some holes and fill them in again, would you go, yeah, that's really beneficial to the state of the nation?
That's unproductive. I thought it measured productivity.
No, economic activity. So, if I pay you to dig some holes and fill them in again, that will be part of GDP. Now, last week, there was a police chase through Auckland, and there was a bus and a police car collided. Terrible. Cop ended up in hospital, no good. But you know what? That's going to form part of the GDP, because the bus is going to need to be fixed, the police car is going to need to be replaced.
So if you ran a little business, you would say all of that activity is unproductive, and I wouldn't even be measuring it for anything. It's not worth nothing to me.
Complete waste. So we could move beyond. With the technology we have now, we could measure something with a lot more scientifically than just using something like GDP. Now, there's a bunch of different models from around the world. Most of them are theoretical, but there's one that I actually find quite interesting. I'm not saying it's necessarily what I'd want to use, but one from the Kingdom of Bhutan, where they have the Gross National Happiness Index. They don't measure GDP.
That's not productivity. That's not productivity.
Well, when we say happiness, it doesn't just mean, am I bright, smiley, bubbly? It measures progress. It's actually quite scientific on a whole number of different criteria. For example, one of them is home ownership. Because if someone owns their own home, they're more likely to be satisfied with their life. Now, I'm not saying that's what we should go to. It's just an example of someone who's actually gone, hey, let's put a bit of thought into this. GDP doesn't make no sense anymore. And really, that's, I guess, I'd like to see us doing something more about productivity and the quality of what we're delivering, rather than going, how many holes has Max dug this week?
Oh, you're quite right there, because, I could feed my staff drinks continuously and they would be very happy. They're always happy on a Friday night. But is that going to be productive? No. In fact, you make your point very, very well there, Dave. Thank you very, very much.
Till next time, Max.